All right. Hello, 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 hello. Yes, I'm up and down, so it's optimized for your phone. And you can see all those lovely bourbon bottles in the background. So, yeah, I'm doing a little blind bourbon tasting with a few choice friends and people in the neighborhood, hence the Neighborhood Tasting Society. But I didn't want to call it just the Bourbon Society because I don't limit myself to such things. You know, I'm also the hashtag regular wine guy. You know, I'm like doing all my Vivino ratings as Sean J. Brady. And then, of course, there's going to be other future spirits that we just must enjoy, like a little Irish whiskey for St. Patrick's Day, a little tequila for Cinco de Mayo. So a tasting society in a neighborhood near you. That's what it's all about. But I wanted to talk about some of the things that I was differentiating and things that I wanted, the little nuances to the society in our tasting platform. So first and foremost, you gotta have some fun. So can you have fun with the little 1 ounce bottle, little tasting thing? I saw a restaurant was doing that, and they had 10 premium bourbons for $100. Now, if you're buying at the restaurant, that's probably a fair deal. 1 ounce is like, a little less than a shot. A proper shot, in accordance with the Utah rules, right, is 1.5 ounces. Other places it's kind of up, but the general rule of thumb is it's 1.5 ounces is a shot. So we do a 2 ounce bottle so that you have at least that much. You could share a tasting with someone else and have just a little bit more for you to enjoy later. Or you can just drink it. But either way, you have enough to enjoy it a little now, taste it once, maybe even go back and taste it again. So that's one for the bottle. Two, in this tasting, I know people go with the less expensive bourbons and things like that. None of these are cut with 80 to 80 proof. So they're all 90 proof or higher as far as an alcohol content. So doing the math, that's 45% higher in alcohol. And I think the highest went up to 115 or 116. Oh my, quite tasty. But almost, I think all of them are, I have to double check, but all of them are at least 4 years old. Some were aged much, much longer. And of course, I don't want to show too many of the bottles. And Jenny in the background smiling because she's like, I think I see this kind of bottle. I think I see that bourbon I've tried before. And I'm not giving it away either way. That's the fun of the game, is it's a blind tasting. So we're really, truly setting our palate to figure out what we like best. Forget about the marketing. Forget about the price point. All these other wonderful things come into play. And, I must say, in prepping for this sucker, you learn a couple things on how to do a bourbon tasting and pour this fine whiskey into all these little 2 ounce bottles. Yeah, I got a little funnel for it, so that helps. But you can't pour directly from the bottle. So I used a Pyrex cup to pour into these things. So the filling process is a little smoother, a whole lot easier and more consistent. And of course, use of a digital scale gets me exactly at that 2 ounces. All right. Or certainly nothing less. And there's really not much room for any much more. So all these wonderful things come into play for the Neighborhood Bourbon Society. Oops, wait. The Neighborhood Tasting Society, with this round being bourbon. So the way I did this one, I might have to break it up into 2 rounds because there's this little thing I found out about palate fatigue. Palate fatigue. Your taste buds just can't taste the difference anymore. I know Jenny probably experienced this going out to the bars possibly. I know I never have, where you just are tasting something and then you can't even taste, you don't even know what. It's like this. I don't think there's any liquor in this bourbon. I think there's no alcohol. I don't know if you ever had that experience. I may or may not have. So there is palate fatigue, and it's a real thing. And it usually happens depending on how we're cleansing our palate, ideally with enough water and, things in between. So that doesn't happen. But I'm suspecting if we do it the way I'm planning, we may not only just be able to get in a round of 6 tastings tonight, but we will be able to do possibly all 11. Just a little tiny taste. but the tasting first, and then figure out our better choices later. So that was the whole intent. I wanted at least 5 or 6 so that we could establish somewhat of that Pareto principle, right? That you're going to favor your top one and probably buy that more often or trend to it out of tasting all these different things. Now, I know we've gone to bars and different places to taste all these different things, but the focus is to, well, one, have fun. You got to have some fun. It's not a tasting society if you don't have some fun. But more so is to pick our favorites, our personal favorites, because as I say on Leverage Your Lunch and Leverage, Wealth, all these other things, just like personal finance, the number one rule, it's personal to you. So that's why it's truly a blind tasting. And I'm looking forward to it because there's a few of these things that I haven't even tasted. It's not a double blind, so I unfortunately know what everything is. And what's going to be cool is that I'm not going to share them all until the very end when people pick out their favorites, because that's what I'm really curious about. I'm really excited, and really it's a lot of fun for me to do all these fun experiences and things like that. So here it's born, the Neighborhood Tasting Society, right here in West County, Missouri. It's all good. All right, that's what I got for now on this episode of, I don't even know what I'm calling this episode, other than a whole lot of blind bourbon tasting fun. And it will be. So thanks for watching to this point. Hope this provides some direction if you are doing a tasting for yourself somewhere and some friends. And I'm sure I'll have more videos and certainly postings on this as the time goes, because it just makes it that much more fun. So go find out your flavor too. All right, Jenny in the background, roll the bumper. And we may not see you in person, but we'll always see you right here on social media. Thanks for watching. Good stuff.